Hey everyone, and welcome to Isms by Josie. Today I'm going to be doing a crochet kit that I got from Walmart. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, we are going to be doing an amigurumi crochet kit that I found at Walmart. This is by Red Heart. If you do not know who Red Heart is, they are at least from my knowledge, a yarn company. That's where I get all my yarn. And I guess they make kits as well. I know Yarn Inspirations. I've been there a couple of times to get some free patterns for things, so you can check that out. They might have a ton more of projects on top of kits like this, and I think they work in conjunction with Red Heart. So I've had this kit for a while, haven't been able to do it, but they still have these in the store, so I would recommend checking out all their kits because I think they have new ones too. But this one is going to be Nugget the Kitten. This is pretty see-through. I like it because you get to see what you're actually getting. In this kit, you're going to get the stuffing, the yarn. They do give you a stitch marker, which I think is amazing. You have some threads for the face and detailing. You get a crochet hook, a sewing needle, and the pattern. Okay, and I'm thinking that this QR code links to their website. They probably have videos in case this video is not going to be helpful for you. But let's unbox this. So, alright. So it comes conveniently in this clear plastic. I think this was a rip and I ripped it, and I have nails, so it's hard to open. Oopsie. Alright. So here's the yarn, very thin and very kind of stringy. This is all Red Heart, by the way. And I like it, Red Heart. I just never seen this before. Maybe it's exclusive to the kit. There's your stitch marker, your embroidery floss. They do give you a metal needle. So this is not a kit for a little one. You can swap out the needle for a plastic one, but even then you're going to need a lot of supervision for this. Here's the crochet hook. It's one of those ergonomical ones. This is kind of made out of some sort of plasticky rubber, and then you have the metal here. Like, I understand what's going on with these hooks, but I just like the metal, you know, even if it was whatever material. I just like the hook. We don't need this extra stuff here because it just kind of gives you a smaller amount of room. I don't know. Here we have our stuffing, and then we have our instructions. I can't show you the instructions due to copyright, so I highly recommend that you go and get this kit if you want to make Nugget the Kitten. But I'm going to go ahead and put back these pieces that we're not going to use just yet, so that we don't lose them and so that they remain nice and clean. I am going to take out of here the stitch marker. I keep every single one of these that I get. All of my stitch markers have been from kits. I don't think I've ever bought one, but I highly recommend that if you don't have them, you do buy a pack of them because they are very helpful. Alright, so in any spool, I like to get the yarn that's on the inside. So this right here is one end. It's going to be the easiest to find, but that's the one that goes around the outside. If we were to use this end, you're going to have to remove the band, and when you pull on it, it's going to roll around. So ideally what you want to do is choose the other end that's on the inside so that you don't have to keep pulling and having it turn. It'll come straight out from inside here. Now this is spooled pretty tightly, so it's going to be very hard to find the other end, but I do have the crochet hook here. If you can't find the other end easily, then you have to go inside and pull a chunk out. So I'm just gonna hook a strand here and hope for the best. Sometimes you find it right away, sometimes you pull out a huge clump, and sometimes you don't. So I'm just gonna pull on this here, and this is actually really in there. That's crazy. All right, this might not be one of those spools you can mess around with. All right, let me see if I can pull this way. Yeah, this is not ideal. Alright, let's just keep trying to pull this one out then. What is this made out of? Cotton. It feels like cotton. It's woven very tightly, and I don't think I can get what's inside. Alright, well, this is an anomaly. So for this kit, and I can feel the knot like right in here, I don't think I'll be able to get the inside. Like, it is really stuck in there, which is not, you know, it's a precursor of what's going to happen later. So it's either woven too tight, or there's a huge knot in here, or a ball. All right, so unfortunately I'm going to have to use the outside. So this is what happens. You have to remove this because you can't get to the other, you know, you can't unravel it. And then when you unravel it, it's gonna move around like a nut. So whatever, I'm just gonna have to place this somewhere to where it won't roll off the table. Nightmare. Oh, I hear things rattling around back there. Okay. So due to copyright, I can't share with you any of the instructions that are included in this kit. Again, if you want to make this kit, I highly recommend that you go and to your local Walmart. They might have it on the Walmart website. You can also go to Red Heart or Yarn Inspirations. What I do on my channel is I help you understand how to read the instructions, as well as how to do the stitches at least 3 times step by step. Thereafter, I'll go at my normal pace. If you need to speed up or slow down the video, go ahead and click on the gear button in the corner. There's playback options to go fast or slow. If you don't need to hear me talk, you can lower the volume on your device and click on the CC closed caption button. Alright, so let's get straight into this. First, we're going to be working on the body, it looks like. Alright. So, we're going to be working with a magic ring. Okay, so let me just place this here. And I'm going to show you how to do a magic ring. You're going to take the yarn and wrap it around your finger at least 3 times with a little bit of overage. So you can put your middle finger right on top of it. Take this opportunity to adjust your strands, loosen them or tighten them up as you need, because we're going to take our hook and we're going to slip it underneath the 3 strands. Then we're going to pull it back. And we're going to hook this strand and we're going to pull it underneath these 2. So hook it, turn your hook sideways, then we're going to pull the strand underneath this strand and then the next one. So now we have something like this. We're going to yarn over, which is putting the feeder yarn over the hook, and then we're going to pull this strand through the loop. So hook it and then turn the hook, pull it under through that loop there, and that closes up your magic ring. We're going to let go of the middle finger. We're going to slide the loops off your index, and then we're going to be doing the next steps for round 1. Alright, so for the next step, we're going to learn how to do a new stitch. Next stitch we're going to learn how to do is the CH or chain stitch. The chain stitch is one of the easiest stitches in crocheting, so let me show you how to do it. You're going to stick your, you're going to do a yarn over, which is taking this feeder yarn and putting it over the hook like that. Then we're going to pull this through the loop, and that is your chain stitch. The chain stitch consists of 3 loops. We have one right here, one on the other side. If you turn it on its side, then this one back here is the back hump. Alright, so for the next section we are going to be learning a new stitch. This time we're going to learn the single crochet stitch, SC. I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to stick your hook into the loops. We're going to yarn over, putting the feeder yarn over the hook, hook it and pull through the loops. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So we have our first chain stitch. We have a front loop here and a back loop right here. Let's do another one. Stick your hook into the loops. We're going to yarn over, which is putting your feeder yarn over the hook. We're going to hook it, pull it through the loops, and then you have 2 loops on your hook. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So we have another chain stitch. Front loop here, back loop here. One more time with you guys. Stick your hook into the loops. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops. Then yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So you should have 3 single crochet stitches. We have the front loops and we have the back loops. You look at the top side, it looks like a nice braid. So now that I've shown you how to do a single crochet stitch at least 3 times step by step, you can go ahead and rewind this video as many times as you need until you're comfortable doing a single crochet stitch on your own. I'm going to go ahead and continue the rest of the single crochet stitches required for this round. Alright, so now that I've done that, the next thing that we're going to have to do is close the magic ring. So I'm going to take my hand and put it over the hook. We're going to hold the bottom stitches right here with our thumb and index. You don't have to hold it too tight, just need to stabilize your project. Then we're going to take the feeder yarn and just hold it back with our middle finger. We just need to focus on these 2 loops and this excess piece. What we're trying to do is close the magic ring, and to do that we have to get rid of these loops. But if we were to just pull this all the way out, these loops will start to go in, but they're going to bunch up and you're going to have a little clump. So in order to prevent that, what you're going to do is pull on the excess piece, and we're going to watch to see which one of these 2 loops goes inside first. So pull on it. Once you see movement, stop pulling. Alright, so this is the loop that went inside first. What we're going to do now is we're going to pull this side from that loop out, and as we're pulling, this loop is going to start going in. So let's do that now. Get that end out and start pulling, and you're going to see the other loop start to go inside the magic loop or magic ring. You want to keep pulling it until that piece is gone completely inside. Okay. once you've done that, then all we have to do is make this loop disappear. To do that, we're going to pull on the excess piece now. So pull that until this loop has gone completely inside the ring. Now, to make sure that this hole is gone, I'm going to pull in the opposite direction and a little up. You're going to feel a little give, but you don't have to pull it too hard. And then the hole is completely gone. All right. So for the next part here, it doesn't want you to join, but we are going to mark the last stitch. Ooh, this is my first time seeing these instructions for this company, and like I said, I love their yarn, and I've done some projects from Yarnspirations before. I love these instructions already just by this first round. It tells you about tightening the ring, it tells you about marking the stitch, and it's telling you to move it after each round, so that's always good. So to do that, what we're going to do is take the stitch marker, we're going to slip it underneath the front and back loops. So get it under the front and back loops. You can kind of pull this out to see if you've got everything. If there's a clear hole through, then you're clear. If it looks a little thready in there, you probably pierced the yarn or something. But I'm going to close this up, and we're going to do the next round. So for the next round, we're going to learn a new stitch. So for this next round, we're going to learn how to do the INC, or increasing stitch. And basically what that means is we're going to double up on a stitch. So let me show you how to do that. After the first round, it gets a little tough to see where you put your needle next. To make sure you put it in the right spot, count from the stitch marker the number of stitches required for this round, and then put your hook into that last stitch. And we're going to start our single crochet stitch. So you're going to yarn over, you're going to pull through the loop, so you have 2 loops, then you're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So that's our single crochet stitch. This is what we did before, but the difference now to do the increasing stitch is that we're going to put our hook back into the same stitch that we just used. So put your hook back in here. We're going to do one more single crochet stitch in here. So yarn over, pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So out of this one stitch, we made 2 single crochet stitches. So let's do this again. Stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to do 2 single crochet stitches in here, yarn over, pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops, yarn up. I accidentally split the yarn. When that happens, you want to fix that. Alright, yarn over and pull through both loops. Then I'm going to stick my hook back into that same stitch we just used. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. One more time with you guys. So in the next stitch, you're going to stick in your hook. We're going to do an increasing stitch that's doing 2 single crochet stitches in this one stitch here. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Then stick your hook back into that same stitch. We're going to yarn over, you're going to pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So we have another stitch, and out comes 2 stitches. So now that I've shown you how to do an increasing stitch at least 3 times step by step, you can go ahead and rewind this part of the video as many times as you need until you're comfortable doing the increasing stitch on your own. But I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of this round, and then we're going to come in and do round 3. replace the stitch marker. Alright, then we're going to do round 3. Alright, before we move to round 3, there is a parenthesis with a number inside of it, followed by SC. So after each round, you're going to see this parenthesis with a number. That's pretty much letting you know how many stitches you should have at the end of each round. And when you see that number, what you're going to do is start counting from the stitch marker all the way back around, and you want to make sure that that number matches the one in the booklet. Alright, so for the next round, we now have brackets, and this means something different entirely. So when you read a bracket, you're pretty much going to know that you're going to have to repeat whatever's inside this bracket however many times the instruction tells you to. So sure enough, for round 3, after you see the brackets, there is a number and times after it. So we're going to have to repeat that this bracket that many times. And in the end, you should have a total number of stitches that should equal to the number inside the parentheses at the end of round 3. So not to be overwhelmed with all this information, let's just focus on certain sections. So whenever I see something big like this, I focus on whatever's in between a comma. So we have our bracket and then a comma, and I'm just gonna look at what's in between those two, and it's pretty much saying we're going to do some single crochet stitches. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so let's gather up some yarn here. Alright, so let's do our single crochet stitches. And then do your increasing stitches. Alright, and then when you have read those sections and put them together and done them, then you know that that's fairly simple enough. We can just go now and repeat that as many times that it tells us to. And again, due to copyright, I cannot share that information, which is why I don't really need to tell you the numbers, because once you get these stitches down, yeah, the hardest part would be to just count the number of times you have to do things, because my memory is not that great, and so when I'm counting, especially if it's a big number, I just lose count. For this, you can always get a stitch marker, I mean a stitch counter, sorry. There's digital ones. I think there's like a non-digital one, but I've never used any of those, so okay, make sure you're not splitting the yarn. I'm finding that with this yarn, which is kind of disappointing, if you split it, it's so easy to tell. So I'm just gonna undo those stitches and redo them if I split them. Yeah, it's a little disappointing because I like Red Heart, and if this is what they're, you know, putting out there, it's a little, you know, yeah, disappointing. Alright, once we've reached the end of the round, I am going to replace the stitch marker. Again, you can count the number of stitches you have to make sure that it equals the number of the total stitches in the parentheses. But we're going to now move on to round 4. So round 4 and round 5 are pretty much the same concept of reading what's in between the brackets, repeating it the number of times that it tells you to, and it's using the stitches that I've already taught you how to do, which is the single crochet stitch, SC, and then the increasing stitch, INC. So I'm going to be doing rounds 4 and 5 in silence, and when we come back, we are going to be doing something new. Alright, so I finished rounds 4 and 5, and we're going to do something new in round 6. In the first section, it says that we're going to be working in BLO, which stands for back loop only. So in the beginning, I shown you that for a single crochet stitch, these are the front loops and these are the back loops. So we're only going to be sticking our hook into these back loops and leaving the front loops by themselves. Alright, so for this first stitches that we're going to be working with, it looks like we're going to be doing single crochet stitches. The only difference is we're working the back loop only. So let me show you how to do that. You're going to take your hook and you're going to split these braids. You're going to stick your hook in between the braid and we're going to stick it through the back loop only, like that. Alright, so the front loop has been left alone here. The hook went through the back loop only. So we're going to continue our single crochet stitch like we normally would. And that is a first single crochet stitch back loop only. You can see that the front loop here has been left alone. Let's do another one. So we're going to stick your hook in between the braids here. And then you're going to poke your hook through the back loop only. And you're going to continue on with your single crochet stitch. Okay, so now we have 2 single crochet stitches, back loops only. You can see the front loops are here, left alone. So let's do this one more time. We're going to stick our hook into the next stitch. We're going to split this braid here. We're going to put the hook through the back loop only and then continue with our single crochet stitches. So now we have 3 single crochet stitches, back loop only. These are the front loops here. And now that I've shown you how to do back loop only for at least 3 of these stitches, you can rewind this video as many times as you need until you're comfortable doing the back loop only by yourself. I'm going to go ahead and finish round 6. So round 7, you're going to go back to using both loops. Okay, so just for round 6, we're doing back loop only, and then for round 7, we're pretty much going to be doing single crochet stitches, and we're going to use both front and back loops. So I'm going to do all of this in silence because when we come back in for round 8, we're going to be learning a different, a new stitch. Alright, so for round 8, we have a set of parentheses that we're going to have to repeat the number of times that the instruction tells us to. The first section of this bracket is we're going to be doing single crochet stitches, so let's go ahead and do that. And then after we get those done, we have a new stitch that we're going to learn. That stitch is SC-DEC, and that stands for single crochet decreasing stitch. So let me show you how to do that. We're pretty much going to take 2 stitches and make it into 1. So we're going to take your hook, put it into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over, you're going to pull up a loop so you have 2 loops. Then you're going to stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop so you have 3 loops. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. So that is a single crochet decreasing stitch. We took 2 stitches and made 1 stitch out of it. So then we're going to have to repeat our bracket again, so go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to show you how to do a single crochet decreasing stitch again. So into the next stitch, put in your hook. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop so you have 2 loops. Then you're going to stick your hook into the next stitch. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop so you have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through those 3 loops. So we took 2 stitches and made 1. So repeat your bracket again. And then I'm going to show you how to do a single crochet decreasing stitch one more time. Stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over, you're going to pull up a loop so you have 2 loops, then stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop so you have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through those 3 loops. So we took 2 single crochet stitches and made 1 stitch. So now that I've shown you how to do a single crochet decreasing stitch at least 3 times step by step, you can go ahead and rewind this video as many times as you need until you're comfortable doing the single crochet decreasing stitch on your own. But I'm going to go ahead and finish this round. Alright, so now that I've completed round 8, we're going to do rounds 9 and 10. So you really don't need another stitch marker for this, but as an example I am going to use another stitch marker. It's very good to invest in a number of these stitch markers. They sell them in packs because sometimes you're going to have to need more than 1 and more than 2. I've done projects that call for, 20 of these. So definitely good things to invest in. If you don't have any and would like more, I do have an Amazon storefront. If you click on that, I've pinned 2 stores that do sell these stitch markers. You don't have to use those stores because I personally have not purchased from them, but I did pin them because they are a high star rating. You can still navigate to my Amazon storefront and take a look at those 2 stores so that you get an idea of what they look like in a pack. You can get a look at what it's officially called, so you can copy the text into Amazon and search on your own, or search on Google, or you can check the online hobby stores or physical stores. Alright, so this is going to stand for round 9, this is going to stand for round 10, and this one is pretty simple. It's going to be single crochet stitches all the way. And in fact, for round 11 through, actually through 15, it's the same concept of everything that we've learned so far in this video. We've learned how to read the brackets. We've learned how to read the stitch count in the parentheses at the end of each round. We've learned how to do the single crochet stitch, the increasing single crochet stitch, the single crochet decreasing stitch, and then we know to repeat the brackets whatever times they tell us to. So we have all the tools already to do all of these. So I'm going to do the next rounds in silence, and when we come back I'm going to show you guys how to fasten off and leave a long tail for sewing. Alright, so I finished round 15. So from here we have to stuff and then fasten off. So let's go into our little packet here, and I'm going to go get the stuffing out of it. Take some of the stuffing out. And I'm gonna put little by little the stuffing. This will help you control where the stuffing goes better. Sometimes it could be a little lopsided. And you're gonna fill it to the firmness you like it at, but you also have to remember that you only have a certain amount of stuffing. If you intend on making crochet kits a hobby, I highly recommend that you go and get more fiber fill. Even if you're not going to use it right away, I ended up getting a 32-ounce bag, and I'm still using it till today, but I've done so many more projects that I might have to get a new bag at some point, because it's probably more than halfway done. But anyway, in my Amazon storefront, I do have some fiber fill that I actually purchased from. So, and that one, like I said, is 32 ounce. If you don't want a 32 ounce bag of stuffing, definitely navigate out. I don't know if they have anything smaller than 32 ounces, but yeah, definitely navigate out to find the right amount you want. Alright, so from here we're going to fasten off. I like to do a slip stitch because it'll just smooth out this part here. So go into, let's see. So fastening off is pretty much a slip stitch. So stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through all the loops off your hook, and that is basically a slip stitch. Alright, next we're going to fasten off. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to make sure you have enough tail for sewing. So what I like to do is go around the opening generously about 2-3 times to make sure that I have enough to sew with. Then you're going to grab your scissor, cut this off, and then to fasten off, you're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through the loop, and you're going to pull it all the way out, and we'll tighten this up by pulling, and you're pretty much done with the body. Alright, so let's move on to the next part here. We're going to be doing the head. Alright, so let's do the head. We're going to take some yarn, and we're going to do the magic ring again. So wrap around your fingers 3 times with a little bit of overage to put your middle finger on top. Take this opportunity to straighten out, tighten, or loosen the strands as you need it, because we're going to slip our crochet hook underneath here. We're going to pull our crochet hook back, and we're going to pull this strand underneath these two. So hook it, turn your hook to the side, and then slip it underneath the other 2 strands. Then we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull that through the loop. Okay, then let go of your middle finger, remove the loops off your index, and then now we're going to move on to the next steps. So just gathering up some yarn here. The next thing we're going to do is do a chain. So we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull that through the loop to create a chain made up of 3 loops. We've got one right here, one on the other side. We turn it to its side, and you have one back hump right here. Alright, so the next part, we're going to do a bunch of single crochet stitches. So go ahead and do that now. Alright, so now we're going to close up this magic ring. I'm going to take my hand and put it over the hook. We're going to hold on to the bottom stitches here for stability. You don't have to hold it too tight, otherwise you won't be able to pull these loops. I'm going to take the feeder yarn and hold it back. I'm also going to remove this off my finger. Okay, and we're just going to focus on these loops. So the idea is to close this magic ring, and we have to get these loops to go inside the ring one by one. So let's pull on this excess piece here. We want to focus on what's going to go inside first. Once you identify which loop goes inside the ring first, you can stop pulling. So we're going to pull this. Right, and that back loop there, this one went in first. So what we're going to do is pull this end out. So pick that, and once we pull this end out, you're going to see the other loop start to curl in, and you want to keep pulling until that other loop is completely gone inside your magic ring. Then we're going to pull this piece here, and we're going to pull that till this loop disappears into the ring. And to make sure that this isn't closed completely, we're going to pull in the opposite direction and a little up. You're going to feel it move just a little bit, but you don't have to pull it too hard, and that hole should be pretty much gone. Alright, so now we're not going to join this. We're going to mark the last stitch with our stitch marker, and we're going to slip that under the front and back loops. Right, you want to make sure that you didn't pierce the yarn. Close that up. Okay. And then we're going to do the next round. So for round 2, it's a bunch of increasing stitches. It might get a little bit rough to find out where we're putting our hook next after the first round, because we had scrunched everything up. That you can just count from the stitch marker back. So count the number of stitches that were required for round 1. And then that's where you're going to stick your hook. And then you can do your increasing stitches. Alright, so after we have that down, let's look ahead at the next rounds, because for the next rounds it's going to be pretty much everything that we've already done. So we've got brackets, repeating it X amount of times. We have the single crochet stitches, the increasing stitches, the decreasing stitches. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the head. So if you're having issues on the stitches, you can click on the section that you need in my description box below. I've separated my videos into sections, so if you are a little bit rusty on doing these stitches, you can click back to that. If you need to understand how to read the brackets again, you can click to that section. But yeah, I'm going to continue the rest of this head in silence, and we're going to come back. I probably about have an hour, less than an hour left to complete as much as I can. So we'll see if we can do anything more, but I think we're going to finish at the head and then just do another part video for this. Alright, so right now I'm at, I finished round 17 and it says to stuff the head. This size cavity, this size opening is pretty decent. So I'm going to continue trying to do 18 and 19 because before I stuff, I want to try to put on the eyes. I don't know if it's going to be in this video since we're already running a bit long now. But I'm gonna try to keep crocheting until I feel like the hole is getting a little bit too small, and then I'll hop back in and we'll talk about the next steps. I highly recommend that you do it this way because while the cavity is still empty, you can freely you know, sew on the eyes and the nose comfortably and hide all of your knots and excess pieces inside here without having to figure out a way. If you do it at the very end, you're gonna have to figure out a way to hide it afterwards. So it's better to do it while it's still empty. So I'm gonna continue the next rounds and we'll come back in and we'll talk about what we'll do next. Alright, so I actually stopped at after round 18. I could probably do one more, but this is a really good spot to be in here. So in the part 2 video, we're going to start off sewing on the eyes and the nose. We're going to stop to do the ears so we can sew on the ears as well. Everything pertaining to the head, because again, we have all this access to do this, and it's probably the easiest time to do it. So let me just, we're gonna pull out our hook. Make sure this loop is very long. This is gonna keep you from losing your stitch, because it'll take a lot to pull this before you realize that you might lose the stitch. But that way we won't have to deal with a heavy crochet hook while we're in there and doing all the eyes, nose, and ears and stuff. So, alright, you guys. So, thank you so much for watching. Till part 2. This is Hooked on Needles and Crafts. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos. And I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.